Knowing who you are voting for is extremely important. This most recent election has shocked the world and proven to everyone that MAGA is a dangerous cult of false information. The biggest failure of MAGA was to actually check on Donald Trump's policies before they voted, because what he said he would do and what he actually does are two different things. But this is how Trump operates, and he lies and cons everyone around him just to get what he wants. And if MAGA had done any sort of research before voting, they would have learned that Republicans are not on your side. Republicans are protecting billionaire pedophiles and career criminals. Their number one goal is to avoid responsibility for their crimes. And electing Trump may have kept him out of prison, but it put the rest of the country in prison. Republicans have disturbing plans with or without Trump. Look at Project 2025. When he dies, he'll be replaced and this agenda will continue. This agenda includes cutting any sort of social funding. This means food stamps, rental assistance, healthcare, Social Security, and disability funds, disaster funding have all been cut. Climate research. All of this stuff hurts red states the most because they're the poorest states who rely on these programs to survive. But they gave MAGA the illusion of being protected when they pardoned the January 6th criminals, and many of whom are back in jail because they were sexual predators of minors. Just another Republican quality. The reckless trade war has destroyed and bankrupted America's farmers and destroyed important trade relationships with our only allies on this planet. Our healthcare costs are about to double or triple. People won't be able to afford healthcare anymore starting January because Republicans lied about having a healthcare plan, and the Affordable Care Act expires after this month. They have no plans once it expires. The plan is to make it so that people can't afford health insurance anymore, and they'll be forever indebted to medical bills. They make more money that way. Republicans are deregulating industries in order to help the billionaires. So our food, air, and water have all been deregulated this year. They want to cut corners on these things because billionaires aren't affected by these things. Everyday Republicans and Donald Trump are lying to the public about affordability and prices. Trump recently said affordability was a term made up by the Democrats. We aren't fucking stupid. We know prices are higher than ever before. Rent is higher than ever before. And while most Americans can't afford rent, food, or just basic living expenses, they want to waste $400 million on a fucking ballroom that didn't get congressional approval. They're blowing our hard-earned tax dollars. Then we have the issue of Republicans claiming to care about the life of children, and yet they're destroying trans children's lives by canceling healthcare for them, banning them from sports and bathrooms. All of these things lead to depression and suicide in transgender people. A couple months ago, a trans student committed suicide because she was no longer allowed to be on the swim team at her university anymore. Her name is Leah Smith. MAGA mocked her death. These people are vile and disgusting. The only conclusion you can have is that they enjoy the suffering of other people. And for the party that claims to be Christian, this is seriously fucking evil. Republicans are not on your side unless you have $1 billion in your bank. And the blame can't be completely on them They've always been corrupt, and they always will be. The problem is they duped a lot of people into believing that they were actually going to help the poorest people in America. And instead, we got the sheriff of Nottingham robbing the poor to give to the rich. And for the people who didn't vote for Trump, this is extremely upsetting to see people being lied to and taken advantage of because they're not educated. Some of them have come forward now, and I'm talking about MAGA, and admitted MAGA was a cult that they're no longer involved with. So MAGA is falling apart. Let's never let this happen again. Do your research before voting. Thank you guys for listening. Please like this, leave a comment, share it, share it, share it. Trans people are being suppressed from the algorithm. I'll be back soon with more news. Bye.